Hello and welcome to Session 0 of Season 2 of Danger Things.
Yeah!
Oh my God.
I am the GM on this most dangerous journey, and playing the now teens of this story are Colin Hubbard.
Hello.
Scott Wilson-Besgrove.
Hello.
Dan Thompson.
Hello.
James Lockhart.
Hello.
And Drum and Bow Skill.
Ucha kucha.
So we are, as you know, going to be doing some dangerous things, danger things. We are going to be playing teenagers now. Hey.
Yeah.
Exciting.
So, in case you are new to this adventure, then hello, thank you for joining and listening. We'll be playing Kids on Bikes 2nd edition. That is created by John Gilmore and what?
Thank you, John.
I was going to say John.
John.
Created by John
Gilmore.
John. I'm doing dramatic pauses, you know.
Okay.
Where they don't need to be. And Doug Lewandowski, published by Hunters Entertainment. In Kids on Bikes, you and your friends will play everyday people encountering strange, scary, and otherworldly forces that you can't comprehend, much less overpower. Working with, not against the GM, you'll collaborate to tell your story. But in order to survive them, your characters will need to work together, use their strength, and know when they need to run and hide.
Ooh. So different from our usual Pathfinder game, we have no powers, no nothing.
No. You're just regular teams.
Except sometimes a gun.
And 7 jobs.
And a car.
Yeah. I've listening back to the first season, I was like, yeah, it's called Kids on Bikes, and you're immediately like, yeah, we get in the car and we start driving.
Yeah, right. I did,
And I have a gun. I'm 11 years old with a gun.
That's the problem.
It was part of her character arc.
Yeah.
It's very important.
It was a splendid twist. I loved it.
That is the problem when you GM for Drum. It's very much a yes and Drums is yeah, I've got a gun. Yeah, so what?
So I get my gun out.
I love that moment. Everyone around the table was like, what?
I mean, it was explained perfectly well, I thought.
You rolled for it.
Dad's a cop.
To be fair,
she's very rebellious and smart, and stole her dad's gun. I think that has happened. I believe.
I think, yeah. It very much has. It was a cautionary tale.
Too true.
My favorite thing about Mickey in season 1 was that it was when it was revealed that she had worked at the vets, and working at the vets was the second job she'd had at age 11.
She also worked at Thrifty Business.
Yeah, she was like, it's a
She's
career
holding down
woman.
2 jobs at 11. It's a tough life.
So
She's got to pay for bullets.
So Hunters Entertainment had launched a successful Kickstarter campaign for the 2nd edition, which we are going to play last November, and we thought it's a perfect time to play this game, the 2nd edition. But I won't talk too much now about what the changes are from 1st edition. We'll do that as we get into the game.
We played 1st edition last time, right?
We did.
Right.
And now
we're
we're
another show, which is transitioned from 1st to 2nd edition.
That's what we do. We relearn rules that we've already learned.
And when we say learned the rules...
Oh, that is fair. That hurts and despair.
No, even coming from me. There's a lot of things that I didn't get right in the first season, but...
Oh, we know.
A lot of the people that probably went, oh yeah, I love Kids on Bikes, and they listened to it and they were like, this is not the rules. He's getting the rules wrong. Because most of the time I was like, yeah, roll a brawn 5. So yeah, don't worry. I have looked over the rules and I know them like the back of my hand, and I know my back of my hand.
Gosh, you've got a spider on your hand.
Oh shit! What we are going to do now, however, is talk about last season 1
Good call.
of Kids on Bikes. And yeah.
Okay.
Great. That's a solid.
What do you want to talk about, Ross?
No, in case you didn't, sorry, I was just looking at my script because I got a script.
Hey, you gotta stay
I'm
on.
an actor, so just in case you
Are we off book?
this is off book.
Okay.
No, this is rehearsed.
We're off book, guys.
This is all rehearsed.
No, I need
Put
it.
that in the script.
Even this is in the script.
Yeah, this is all.
That's in the script.
It's all meta.
Yeah.
What you just said, that's in the script.
Yeah, I know, mate. I learned the script.
It's like the never-ending story.
Never ending story. Now, in case you haven't listened to Danger Things Season 1, what the fuck?
You should.
Stop this.
Yeah,
Go back and listen to it now.
listen. We'll wait. How was it? It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really
good.
good.
Yeah, bit mad. Not many bikes, but
Rules were all over the place.
yeah, rules are all over the
place.
place. Ross really should have learned those rules. So, are we still on script? Yeah,
This is all part of the script.
it's all part of the script.
If you want to listen to season 1, patreon.com/Danger Club Podcast, you can get a 1-week free trial. You could easily bosh that series in a week, and then be up to date, and then
Bosh
get back
it.
here, and then you'll want to stay subscribed for season 2.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Stick with your guns, mate, because you've got a free trial of the Patreon. You've gone straight for season 2 of Danger Things. That's bold. That's it.
So don't worry though if you can't, you haven't got time to listen to season 1, because somebody in this room is going to do a summary of the story
boy.
of season 1, and that person is Dan Thompson. What happened in season 1?
Previously on Danger Things. It's the one time my voice is in a condition where I can do that again. Oh my god. All right, let me try and remind us. Let me try and remember what happened in season 1 of Danger Things. In season 1 of Danger Things, we were introduced to the town of Sasquatch, Wyoming, a small town in the middle of rural America, where we met 5 kids called Otis, Mickey, Randy, Benny, and Maggie. A lot of E names. A lot of E's. But it's all right because it's nearly the 90s now, so there'll be plenty of E's again.
But back then it was the 80s, wasn't it? So there was lots of E's in the end of the...
There were lots of E's in the 80s as well, if we're clear. It was a busy time. Not for those kids, though. Those kids, remarkably, did not. Those kids went to a local high school where they got talked into... going out to the old paleontology town up in the hills around Sasquatch. Sasquatch is was famous for several things: a statue of a chicken, the custard hole, an artist who went missing and was never mentioned again, and an old paleontology town. Oh, and a crying hill.
Socks as well.
Socks.
We were famous for socks.
Famous for socks.
Bigfoot bush as well.
Yeah, and the
Bigfoot
Bigfoot bush.
That gave it its name, of course. Popular with British ramblers as well, and British character actors as well. It's very much like Andor was season 1. So we went up to the old paleontology town, which was a boom town founded when some dinosaur fossils were found in the 1800s. So they built a town up in the woods, then stopped. It turned out no one was interested in fossils, and so the town just fell into ruin. We went up there with Freddie Johnson, who thought he was very quickly from the coolest kid in school to some guy who ate caterpillars.
Caterpillar guy.
The caterpillar guy. And his sidekick who loved Star Wars.
Jimmy Smims.
Jimmy Smims. Loved Jimmy Smims. They talked us for some reason into going up to the old town where we met a big hairy lad, a creature, a yeti came out of the woods, or a Sasquatch if you prefer, came out of the woods,
was
it didn't have a name at this point. It assaulted Maggie's dog. Deke. Deke was injured. A caterpillar guy ran off. Jimmy Smims, I think, just disappeared.
He's
still living in the woods. He's still living up there.
Wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Jimmy Smims?
He's living up there in the
Find
woods.
out hopefully in season 2.
I love that. Fortunately, thank goodness for the poor injured dying dog, Mickey stepped up, went down into town, and found her boss at the veterinarian. The incomparable Charles Fauntleworth, the German vet,
Who does stuff for free.
who has sworn an unclear oath to do after he cooked a load of animals to death by accident, that he must save every animal's life. So he came up.
Yeah. Do you forget as well that he stored the dead animals in Tupperware, brought them to America, and then
and still has them. So he saved Deke.
But in Star, because he had a station wagon with like a pull-out operating bay and stuff.
In my head, it was not as insane as it did.
it was my game. So
Then he drove. Then the next day, for some reason. We went to the sock museum, which my mum runs.
Oh shit! I remember
Maggie's
the socks.
Maggie's mum ran the sock museum, so we went around the sock mumuseum.
Didn't have immersive actors.
They're immersive actors.
I think
all British, British
immersive actors
telling
of a Sasquatch sock factory,
telling the story of the town's founder, Brigham Man.
Yeah, Brigham Man. Brigham Man, and the guy who founded the sock trade, who was what's the sock trade guy's name? And then something Dana. Oh yeah, Robert Dana.
Robert Dana. And he's sad. We learned about his sad life and lonely death.
So.
Given that Dan's given us quite a good rundown and told us all the key things that happened in this town historically, why the fuck is it called Sasquatch?
Because of the big tree, the big bush.
Yeah.
There's a bush that looks like Sasquatch.
All those things that happened to that town, and they named it after a bush.
Well, you're not going to call it custard hole, are you? I mean,
dinosaurs. There was dinosaurs. It was a boom town for a while. We've got like entrepreneurs and stuff like that. We've got immersive actors. Sasquatch. And we found a Sasquatch.
You did?
Yeah.
That is
the first time we've been
irony.
That's a big coincidence.
It's named after the first thing they found, which was the Bigfoot bush. That was there.
Yeah.
They don't rename towns unless they have incredibly overtly racist names.
And was the Bigfoot bush a Bigfoot bush because it looked like a Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Robert Dana was a guy who opened the he was in the sock industry. He tried to move, the sock boom happened, and then he wasn't making as much money, so then he tried to make other avenues of money. Paleontology was one of them. It didn't work.
That's why you talk about this as if it actually happened.
Yeah.
You know, the sock boom of
the early 1920s.
Early 1920s. Oh, yes. Before the stock market crashed and then the bottom fell out of socks.
It was after the First World War. Do you know what I mean? Everyone wanted socks.
Everyone just wanted socks because of all the wet trench foot.
Exactly,
they just wanted dry socks.
And then by the late 1920s, everyone could get socks anywhere.
They were made of something crazy, though, weren't they?
They're pretty special stuff.
He tried to
even in World War One.
He tried to
vaguely.
They were, yes.
So he tried to go into other avenues of clothing as well. The polystyrene jacket.
Yeah.
The owl hat. That didn't work, so he ended up shooting himself in the head. And you saw
it's pretty dark.
That's the 1920s for you. Lost all my money on owl hats.
But the key thing about that crazy museum visit was that Mickey spotted a strange artifact in the gift shop.
That's correct.
Which she became convinced was the key to unraveling this entire mystery.
And then you questioned the person that worked there, and they were like, "We don't know what it's made of."
I've been to every the best scientists in Wyoming, and no one knew what it was.
In the world, We've tried to analyse it all over the world, and they never knew what it was.
But now it's in the gift shop.
But they just chucked it behind the twiglets.
Stupid.
Do we break in and
well, eventually, first Charles came back.
Oh, right.
And told us that he'd analysed the fur from the creature that had attacked the dog, and had concluded, again through the best scientists, that it was an alien and we had to capture it. Yeah. So we were like, cool. We went back to the woods. Charles brought the Tupperware full of the dead animals he'd killed in Germany that made him, and used them as bait. The creature came out to eat the Tupperware, and Charles ran off. We met the creature, and it was friendly.
It had long claws, and that's why you called it
claws.
Fingers.
So Maggie named it Fingers, because of its long claws. And we decided we were going to be friends with the creature. Then we stole Charles' car.
He ran off.
He ran off. So we stole his car, and we decided to drive it to the mall. What we found out there was a connection between.
He was leading you to the abandoned mall. You went into the underground, like you went into a hidden passage in the mall.
Yeah.
Found like an underground, like sort of scientific fucking lab. You found the bones of his family.
Yep.
And then he took you to his spaceship.
Yep. all the while.
Are you listening, Netflix? Are you actually?
All the while, Mickey's screaming at us for not going back to the gift shop to get this thing.
Benny got French kissed by the Bigfoot
He did.
whilst you were swimming underneath because you were almost drowned, which I'm surprised you didn't put as a new fear. Like,
Oh
you know,
my
got a fear of
God.
water.
Fuck me, yeah. Let me just write down thalassophobia.
I'm hoping you put that down in your romantic connections list.
You went into the ship. You found that there was a missing piece.
It was,
to activate it.
Was it the Kurt Geiger ship?
Yeah, the Kurt Geiger ship with all shoes everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Why am I taking over? Sorry, Dan. Yeah,
That's
carry on.
all right. You're very welcome to it. We met Michael Dana, who was Robert Dana's
Son.
son. It's only one generation, this dynasty.
It's a very short period of history. And,
Well, the sock boom.
so, yeah.
Sorry, it only goes back that
And
far.
the short period afterwards where, you know.
He must have been like 70 as well.
Yeah.
Like,
So we decided that we figured that he was probably a baddie. He, for some reason, did not see through Finger's disguise, which was, I believe, an old miner's romper suit upside down with the butt flap open with his face through it and some sunglasses.
Bunch of 11-year-olds.
I think we said he was our uncle and we were going for a walk, which is a common excuse in this podcast in various shows. Then we decided to heist my mum. We decided we needed to get into the museum and steal that artifact.
Mm-hmm.
So we pulled off an elaborate heist on the Wheeler household, where we stole the keys to the museum. We broke into the museum, where we found it full of deadly booby traps. Charles was possibly killed. Was never really made clear. And then we.
Then that was the showdown between Robert Dana.
That was it.
Michael Dana
And his British
the kids.
thugs.
And then and then you ran away. There was a little chase. You ran up to the crying hill. You put the thing in the console, and then Fingers flew away.
Flew away to space. And
However, Michael Dana was aiming a gun at you guys, and he was about to shoot, and then somebody saved the day. It was Mickey's dad.
Oh, yeah.
Shot him.
yeah.
Is he dead? Who knows? You may decide that in the things that have changed in the town. Who knows? But yes.
It really does make more sense when you listen to it, Dangerlings.
yeah, if that's your first,
not much more.
if that's your first, I mean, we've spoiled the whole thing, but
Yeah, so go back and listen to it now.
But it's a lot better.
If you enjoyed listening to that,
Yeah.
maybe you'd enjoy listening to the whole thing.
We thoroughly enjoyed it just then, so maybe I'll put a little warning
Yeah.
before. If you don't want this spoiled, skip forward.
Oh yeah, I forgot
20
about
minutes
that. Oh well, yeah. If you don't want it spoiled, then yeah.
Then don't listen to that last
Listen
bit,
to
which is
this.
different.
Don't listen to this. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
So yes, thank you, Dan. There we go.
Nice one.
That
Great.
was really
Yeah.
good.
Well done, Dan. That was succinct,
That's
man.
more. We could
was
cut
not
that
succinct. That
technically
was
anyway.
long and rambling.
We could cut that, to be fair, as that was just kind of for you guys because it's been a long time since we played.
It has, yeah. I didn't remember.
What I'll do is I'll maybe I'll cut it and put it at the end, and then I'll say to people.
If you just cut it, Dan's got notes. Like, just in a 10-minute
Yeah, right.
If you just
Yeah.
cut it.
Oh, sorry, Dan, I wasn't recording. Yeah, maybe I'll put a little warning. Say if you don't want the first season spoiled, skip forward or something.
I tell you what I do want spoiled is the reason why Drum has got, in his backpack that we use as a character sheets of Kids on Bikes, has got 2 large mushrooms.
What? No, it's just one mushroom.
Just one mushroom.
What is it?
One
Just one
mushroom.
mushroom.
We'll find out. Hold
Just
on.
one mushroom.
Okay.
So
Mickey's
now,
on mushrooms in this one.
now what we're going to do is we're going to go round the table and talk just about a brief overview of what who your character was in 1985 from season 1. And then we'll go straight into talking about this new season. So let's start with Dan. Who were you playing and what were they like?
So season 1, I was, and still season 2, playing Maggie Wheeler. Maggie was the neurotic daughter of the owner of the Sasquatch soccer experience. She was the one. She is the cousin to Otis, who we'll learn about in a bit. And she had an imaginary friend called Mr. Fingers when she was a little girl, and met and hence naming the Sasquatch Fingers, and formed quite a bond with Fingers the Sasquatch. They became close friends, and she really kind of she went from being the kind of slightly standoffish, music obsessed kid. She's got an older brother she gets all her music from, and she was always quite looking down on everyone else for not knowing cool music, and kind of across the course of the game kind of came out of herself and found a loyalty and found friends for the first time.
Nice. Scott?
Benny Frasco is the hard put upon now teenage son of a crime boss that got relocated to Wyoming from New York, and the New York divide was a bit of a deal coming to Wyoming, which he's probably now acclimatized to, even though he's 17 years old, grumpier than he was before, and has a job. And I was going to ask you about this, Ross. What's the local fast food place in Sasquatch?
We'll find it. We're talking about 1985 at the moment.
Okay, fine. But I just noticed that in my 1985 notes, I've made a note called Trippin' Chicken. And I don't know if that's a statue or if that's food.
I think that was...
The chicken was a statue.
Yeah, I think there was a sign that said...
Beware chicken.
Yeah, beware chicken. Check in before you walk. Check in before you walk.
People kept tripping over the statues. So, yeah.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, you could call it the Trippin' Chicken.
Anyway,
we're going to have to cut this and put it at the end.
yeah.
He was really into baseball, has a baseball bat, and was a fan of the Sasquatch Yetis, the local team.
Yes.
He may still, in fact, have that baseball bat. Whether he uses it anymore is another thing entirely.
Ooh. Colin, who were you playing in 1985?
So I was playing a guy called Randy Garcia. And Randy Garcia moved here to Sasquatch from Wisconsin. Nice. Because his dad's company kind of had 2 offices, and so they migrated over here. He was kind of cool. He had a nice BMX, one of those blue and yellow BMXs. His mum and dad they didn't have loads of money, but they were quite well off. He had a nice house and stuff like that.
He had a Nintendo, didn't he?
Had a Nintendo. Yeah, a Nintendo Entertainment System. Had a Walkman with a proper Sony Walkman as well, not like an offshoot, with the proper yellow foam headphones around it. It was crazy. Whoa. It was amazing. Yeah,
like what Star-Lord uses.
Basically, yeah. Nothing, like Star-Lord. But.
I only had a Sony.
Yeah, right. It's a good make. His dad is a bit of a hard ass. His mum was a bit of a walkover. And yeah, he used to play soccer, but he didn't by the time we met Randy. He kind of, when he moved, he lost all the interest in playing soccer and stuff like that, which we didn't really cover. But yeah, he just wanted people to leave him alone. But he liked these people, most of them anyway.
I love how kind of exotic Wisconsin seemed to all of it. As the people in Wyoming, everyone was like, Wisconsin, we're all treating it like it's France. And it's they play soccer there and they have cheese.
Beer and cheese and soccer. This sounds so crazy. Yeah.
Whoa.
Drum.
In 85, I was playing a character called Michelle Stableman, or Mickey to her friends. Though she didn't have many, she's a little bit of a loner. She was the youngest of the group. She was only 11, a year before the events of the Doorbell ringing.
So that wouldn't.
That's never happened
That won't
before.
pick up. So.
Okay. About a year before the events of the last show, she lost her mum. Mum died, and Dad did not take it well. He's a local policeman, and he turned to drink, and she became very angry, insulated, and a bit of a loose cannon. Hence, her, sort of sneaking out a lot, ending up sort of looking after herself a lot and doing things like stealing her dad's gun. Things like that. Bit of a tomboy, at the time. But I think the events that happened in the last game have had a profound effect on Mickey, and so there's going to be some quite big changes for her, I think.
Character shit.
James.
So I played the 12-year-old Otis Fanuffer, otherwise known as Pockets. He was your sort of classic, quite sort of shy child, a little bit soft around the edges, like riding his bikes with his friends, but cousin of Maggie. He's picky and clumsy. So he's a bit sort of clumsy. He likes collecting stuff. So he was no pockets because he always kept wearing clothes with lots and lots of pockets on, like a hunting vest sort of thing. I have on the notes on the sheet say, Mr. Fingers ate a dog poo, 3.5 socks. So that gives you an idea as to...
Yeah, wait, I've got on my old character sheet 1/2 of a sock.
Yeah, because I think we got given socks
Yeah, you
after
got
the
given
show.
socks.
And then you end up with half a sock, I seem to remember.
What?
No, we rolled to. I think there was a machine that you could play. There was a game you could play that dispensed socks.
That's right.
And we critted it so well that socks flew everywhere. And then we all got to roll to see how many, like the Crystal Maze. We rolled to see how many socks we could grab. And yours was so borderline that Ross gave you half a sock.
So yes, yeah, and that was Otis, really, as a sort of a rundown.
Nice, thank you very much. So there you go. There's a little brief overview of what the guys played last time. Now, we are going to just quickly, just before we talk about 1989, which is where we are setting this adventure, we're going to talk about stars and wishes. Stars and Wishes.
Ooh.
It's an interesting thing in the second edition. It's basically a thing to talk about stars. Stars are things that you loved in the game. It can be like scenes, moments, mechanics, anything that helped make the game from Season 1 awesome. And then wishes are what you want more of, or what you want to see in this game coming up in this next season. These can be emotional beats, scenes, mechanics to use, moments for your characters to experience, or themes that you would love to further explore. So stars and wishes. So basically what you loved about the last season, any moments you thought jumped out at you that you really loved, and what you want to see in season 2. This is something in the second edition book that you go around and players and you ask them, so that it helps me make it more personable to you guys and your adventure. So let's go around the other way. James, what was the star from the last season?
Well,
so there are various spoilers going to be in this season. So there will be a spoiler warning in the notes. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I think stars. I mean, I love the batshit narrative. It's a classic Harmston, like all, just going with it, going with crazy ideas, and then just sort of running with situations. I did love. I love the vet. I remember him talking about his backstory, and I think that was it was important because you kind of need an adult that kind of is allied with the kids. Yeah. That's a classic trope, like, because there's some shit that kids can't do, so you have to have an adult. And I thought he was great. So maybe get to know more about that. Wishes, I think, given the age that everyone's now, it's about 5 years later, it is, I guess, that classic kind of like the twilight of your childhood years, moving into adulthood, saying goodbye to some things, saying hello to some new things, and sort of how you're going to develop, and friendships and stuff like that. So sort of seeing how that's going to develop. I'm looking forward to. I want a good bit of character shit.
Nice, cool. Drum?
So going through the museum was one of my favourite things, I think, possibly that we've ever done as a game playing meeting those actor characters and also the sort of the mechanics of how it works. Because, like, it's hard to remember. It's a really long time ago.
It was.
But like, I feel like if almost parts of it felt like we were doing a dungeon as we went through there. Do you know what I mean? And
definitely.
And yeah, I don't know, some of how it worked, like getting through the door and getting past these actors and how we get past them, and the kind of things that were happening to us. Like, were there arrows or was it socks?
There were socks with rocks in them.
Socks with rocks in them. That was it. Socks with rocks in them, and just it was amazing. That was a high point that I really enjoyed.
Nice.
And let's see. I think it's hard, I don't know. It's hard to know what you want from a game until you're until you're in it and doing it. Really, I think do
you want to explore more of Mickey's like?
I mean,
like, or her father relationship? Do you want to?
Well, that's I think gonna like probably. I mean, once I explain what's happened in the last few years, I think that there's no way that can't come into play, really.
Yeah.
So I've forced your hand in some ways there, but yeah, I guess. I think in the group, there was a lovely moment when Maggie gave Mickey a tape. It sounds like the beginning of an episode, doesn't it? And I loved getting the tape. Dan actually gave me a playlist of what was on the tape, and that was lovely. And I guess, just seeing where the relationships go. I'm not sure that because for Mickey, she definitely, I don't think she felt like she had a group of friends, and now I think she does. Although, apart from Maggie, I'm not sure how close she feels to the others, and I think bonding with the group as a whole would be really good for her in this season. We'll see. But
nice, cool. Thank you, Colin.
Yeah, I think for a star for me was definitely what you said, John, with the whole immersive actors. I'd like to see the same actors.
Where are they now?
I think that's a star for me. Is like
fucking hell. That's a bit close to the bone, isn't it? That's 5 years later. They're still working the same immersive attraction.
Exactly. They're still plugging away, trying to live
except
their
for one
dream,
of them that they all hate.
Yeah, one of them's gone off. One of them's a fucking Hollywood star or some shit. Do you know what I mean? And the rest of them they're like, I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy for them. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
Are they making a podcast?
Yeah, right. Yeah, a podcast. Anything. Yeah,
yeah.
They're big on radio.
Recording it on cassettes and handing it out.
Yeah, right. I got this new thing. I think what I want to see is more of the relationships. I think there could be a nice, I'm not sure if it's Randy's character, but maybe there's someone in this group that is no longer part of the group and they have to bring them back for some reason. That would be quite nice. Mm-hmm. It's an age-old trope that you get in these kind of stories, don't you? When they get older, it happened in lots and lots of things I could probably mention, but I won't now. But that might be quite nice just to see a little bit of that kind of what do you call it? I don't know.
Everyone like trying to get the other person back from a different friendship group or something that's like turning them into. Yeah.
There's something like that might be quite cool, or just the fact that they don't hang around with them anymore. There was not that there was an argument or anything. They just don't do that. But then we need them. We need that person back in the group.
Yeah.
That something like that might be quite cool.
Okay, Scott.
Star, yes. James Charles Fauntleroy. I don't actually care if he's no longer allied with the kids. In fact, if he turns up as some kind of antagonist,
oh my god,
even better. I want him back from the probable dead and in this game.
Okay.
Wishes. I guess I kind of agree with Drum. It's hard to know without becoming too prescriptive to the GM, like sort of telling people what you want to happen in a game, whereas things happening organically, I think, is superior. But I suppose, more weird shit. Not necessarily. Oh, I'm talking about. I've already flagged your particular brand of weird shit, which is why I've starred Charles Fauntleroy. Not necessarily that, but in terms of wishes, more spooky shit, I guess.
Yeah.
More creepy, weird happenings.
Okay. Noted.
Nice. I think stuff I really like. I mean, we've got to give a shout out to Rim Hardwinkle. Not enough. There's not been enough shout out.
I don't remember who Rim Hardwinkle is.
Principal Hardwinkle, who was the principal of
Sasquatch Slammer.
I think he's got to have a thing. But in general,
Is that his first name Rim?
Yeah.
His parents chose to call him that.
You guys named
It's
it,
actually
I
a
think.
very traditional Wisconsin name.
Yeah.
Rim.
Yeah.
It's short for something much worse. But generally, what I really, really loved is small town bollocks. I loved all of the stuff about just how small and crap this town, like the fact that the school bus drives around one block to pick everyone up, and it's got one diner, it's got one vets, probably got what, like Mickey's dad is probably the only cop, and it's got a mall. But I just love how little and weird the town was, and finding out a little bit. And any time a location pops up, all of the characters just knew it instantly, because everyone knows everyone, and everyone knows all the locations. I really like that as a world to play in. Stuff to see. I'm looking forward to, similar to Colin, I'm looking forward to seeing the characters' relationships now after time has passed and things have changed. And I reckon, I think we'll get into in a bit kind of where characters are off the back of this. But I think I feel like Maggie may have gone in a slightly different direction to some other people as a reaction to everything they've gone through. And I think it'll be interesting seeing how they come back together. And I'm interested in playing out the kind of this bond that they've all got now from season one, from what they all went through together. Like, even if they pulled apart a little bit, there's a connection there, and they're established. It's that thing of like, we're not trying to establish the party anymore. I like that there's just this iron bond between all of them in some way.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Thank you for that. I will remember all the stuff you just said. So
We recorded it just in case.
oh, thanks. Because it's on the script. It's out the script. So, in Danger Things Season 2, you will be teenagers in 1989. Woo! The cusp of the 90s. The cusp. 1989, a year after I was born.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go round again. Sorry, and it's like a round table thing. And we're going to talk about your characters now. So you guys off air did your character sheets for the second edition and the second season. So let's go round again and let's talk about your characters now in 1989. What's changed? Have your strengths changed? Have your flaws changed? Have you got different fears now? Are you scared of Sasquatch giving you air whilst underwater and blowing into you? Are you afraid of hamsters because you've seen one skinned in Tupperware? Like, have a think about that. Let's start with Colin today, now, and today.
How long have we been recording?
Is this in the script here?
Yeah.
Yes,
We're recording all week.
Yes.
Colin, what's
today
changed about? You don't have to go into details about what you were doing or like what you've done over the last 4 years, but what's changed for you in terms of your like strengths and fears and things like that from your younger self?
So Randy's kind of like the eldest in the group, isn't he? He's 17. He's like, he's just, he's getting towards graduating.
We're the same age.
We're the same age, but I don't know.
I bet there's like a month in it, and it's still a thing between.
There's like 3 days or some shit. Like, yeah, it's
Such
crazy.
a teenage thing.
So yeah, I feel like a lot's changed because when you're a teenager and then when you're a teenager, like when you're almost an adult at 17 years old. A lot of the time people think that they know everything by that age. I remember being quite an old teenager, do you know what I mean? And I hung around with older people, and I used to think that that I knew a lot. And then I got to like 21 and I realised that I didn't know fuck all. And then I got to like 27 and then I realised that I knew fuck all when I was 21. Do you know what I mean? But at that point in time, you really believe that that's what's going on, that you know the world and you know what's up. So a lot has changed for him. So I'll just go through my stats. My flight has changed from, do you want to read out the numbers?
Yeah, if you want to. You can do that.
I mean, it's just how you want to do it, because I don't really...
No, yeah, go for it.
Well, it might be worth, actually, just for the listeners, there are 6 stats.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
And they are flight, brawn, grit, charm, brains, and fight.
I tell you what, I won't give you the numbers, but I'll tell you what's changed. So from being a kid, his flight is a lot less. His fight is a lot more. His brains is a lot more. His brawn is a little bit more. His charm is a lot less, being a teenager, and his grit is just a little bit more so than what it used to be. So his personality is kind of changed into proper teenager. Now, I feel like Randy is really smart, but he doesn't let people know that. Do you know what I mean? He's just trying to be cool.
Yeah.
But actually, if he applied himself... If you just apply yourself, kid!
You're a slacker.
Yeah, it's kind of like that's what his dad used to say to him. And nowadays, So, that's kind of what's changed for him on that level.
Yeah.
Is that enough?
Yeah, yeah. That's good. Do you have any new fears? Or are your fears the same as they were when you were a kid?
My fear is the same. Thunder and lightning still makes him not sleep.
Yeah.
You know? And again, this isn't something that he never talks about. I feel like he's afraid of zombies as well.
Nice. I love that.
He watched a zombie movie and it kept him up all night. Do you know what I mean? And like, so yeah, that's kind of cool. Sorry.
What's your motivation?
Motivation, good one, yeah. So my motivation is, hang on, I did write this down, to get the fuck out of here.
Wasn't that the same when he was a kid?
When he was a kid, his motivation was people leaving me alone. So it's kind of simple, but it's different. It's moved on. He wants to get out of this town. Like it's a deadbeat town. He wants to go and see things. He wants to escape, you know. He's writing songs about wanting to escape. That's like all teenagers do.
Amazing.
His dad these days is not as much of a hard ass. He lost his job and had to get a job in like a dodgy office, like in a bank or something. So he's just working in a bank, and he's not as like hard anymore, which is a little bit of a benefit. But Randy sees it as he's lost all his fight. Do you know what I mean? His dad's lost the fight that he used to have. So in a way, he looks at him even more in a pathetic sense. And his mum has had to get a job to kind of subsidise the family, because they used to be quite well off and now they're not as much. So his mum's had to get a job in the local store, maybe in the local chicken place.
Nice.
Ooh.
Where your man works. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Colin.
But we haven't worked that out yet. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Scott.
So Benny's always had a fear of peanut butter, which is still present, although he doesn't talk about it anymore because he hates that he's still scared of it. He has gained a new fear, which is, I've written down as underwater beast mystery. So that could just be anything under the water. I think that's quite relatable for a lot of people. I think thalassophobia is genuinely a thing, like fear of deep space and open water. That's terrifying, really, if you really think about it. So I've just written that. In terms of the stats, I've swapped charm and grit. I think he's a lot less charming as a teenager. He's a bit more angry and despondent, so a lot less charming. And being grittier through baseball training and also having the dad who it is has become grittier.
Nice.
So those are the changes, really.
Nice. Dan.
Maggie went through the biggest change that happened to Maggie personally since the first game is that her parents have separated over a number of things. Paul and Francis, they were always very different people. Paul works for the park services, was always away out in the wilderness, and Francis runs a sock museum and was maybe one of the villains of season 1 of Danger Things. Very different people, and it is inexplicably hot. That was another weird thing that came up in canon. Yeah. So they've separated. Maggie can't let go of the fact that she feels like she's responsible somehow, because she knows that the fact that the kids got in danger feels like that was something they argued about because her dad blamed her mum or held her mum at least partly responsible for what happened in season 1, and they got a gun pulled on them. So it was definitely like, so she's kind of, her reaction has been to spring back from that and to try and fix things. And so she's doubled down at school. She's refocused, and she's kind of focused on if she can be a good enough student, if she can toe the line enough. She's really gone back onto her rules and stuff. And if she can, she's really trying to put that whole time behind her, because if she thinks she can do that, she can somehow put everything back together again.
Is that your obligation?
So her motivation is fix everything.
Right, okay. That's a nice one.
It's like putting pressure on yourself to just make things back how they were. Her fear is being responsible for failure. So it's not like necessarily failure itself, but it's feeling like something bad has happened and it's her fault. So she has that responsibility to try and hang on to try and stop these things happening. I've moved a few stats around. So I've kept her fight and flight are still the same. Her brains has gone down slightly. Her brawn has gone down by quite a bit, but her charm has gone up. And her grit is still high because she's still determined. Her charm has gone up because Maggie's going into politics. Maggie is running for class president.
Nice.
And that is like her obsession at the moment. Is she's throwing stuff into the campaign to try and get herself elected. So
make America great again.
That's it. She's got. So her backpack contains. So she spends weekends with her dad out in the woods. So she's quite good at bushcraft now. And then she spends the weekdays with her mum, still trying to. So she's still trying to make. She doesn't blame either of them. She's still trying to like mend things with both of them. Her backpack currently contains a map, a penknife, and the autobiography of Eleanor Roosevelt, because she's still precocious as fuck.
Nice.
That's more, Colin, that'd be more MAGA than Maggie. That was intentional.
If this is your first time listening, this is what you can look forward to.
Drum. Let's go for
right. So,
Settle in, everybody.
It was really
Be a long one. Right, here we go.
In the days of elves and men.
I thought
Maggie drinks a lot of milk,
man. All right, so Michelle / Mickey now has another nickname, Mitch. She's been going down the gym, and people down the gym, they call her Mitch. She has not changed her pronouns as such. As you know, I think more of a sort of. I don't think she would have thought of that particularly, but she's cut her hair off. It's short, not like buzz cut, but like it's short, like it's curly, so it's looks a little bit like Colin's, actually. Interestingly,
That's good. A little bit like
I think
Sigourney Weaver,
but brown. Sigourney Weavery. That kind of. Sorry, did I just call you Sigourney Weaver?
No, sorry. I like it.
That was the thing he picked out.
Colin Ripley Hubbard. I don't understand.
So anyway, she's been going down the gym, which means a few of her stats have changed. Her brawn's gone up. Her fight's gone up. Her brain's gone down because she's spending a lot less time sort of, studying and having street smarts and stuff. And she's sort of, she's not in that sort of same headspace anymore. Important things, obviously, her dad saved them all at the end of the last season. And they reconnected, and they had a wonderful couple of years before he got sick. He's now he's dying, unfortunately. Caused himself some trouble with his drinking and whatnot, and he's sort of on his way out. So her motivations now are looking out for her dad, and possibly protecting her friends. She's still got a quick temper. Still oversensitive. She's a bit paranoid now. She is afraid of guns, very afraid of guns. She was, sort of didn't take them seriously really before, and she was, sort of a loose cannon, as I mentioned before. So, but now she doesn't want to go anywhere near him, and the way that she's decided to deal with things that frighten her is by going to the gym, and that's, you know, she does a lot of that, and she does a lot of looking after her dad. You know, she's got all his pills and all his bits and bobs in her bag. You know, she's feeding him, and they're the things that take up her day, really. So I've said things that she's good at is lifting things and offending strangers.
Nice.
Because she's still, you know, she's still angry inside, but she's just learned. She's got a new place to sort of take that out, use that, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you know, it's possible that she, you know, she wants to. I think she's leaning towards, you know, wanting to be a guy, but I'm not sure that she's totally, like, I'm not sure that that's clicked in her brain as such, you know. But she certainly feels more that way.
Okay. Cool.
Nice.
I think.
Cool. James.
Let me tell you something about the 1980s, you little whippersnapper. You know, the sort of late 70s and early 80s was the dawn of the computing age. The home computer was invented and started to become widely purchased. So by the late 80s, it was very much the sun-washed morning of home computer ownership. And something happened just after the adventure we had in 1985, and that is that Otis's parents bought a Commodore 64.
Oh,
yes. It was the most popular home computer of the 1980s. Over 50 million units sold. It was very, very popular because it was affordable. And this opened up something for Otis that he'd never had before, really, because he'd always kind of envied the Nintendo. He thought that you know, Randy was really cool for that. But he finally got a chance to play it, and this has opened him up in a big way. He really, really loves computers. So much so that he is president of the computer club at school, which has got not many members, but you know, it's a small burgeoning group, and it's given him a sort of purpose, really, because he still likes collecting stuff. He's still sort of taken that from his childhood, but he does very much like sitting and playing his computers and getting involved in all sorts of things. He's been off to coding camp. He's done that, and it's given him this purpose. However, it has opened him up to being a bit more visible at school, and he is being bullied for it because the classic computer geek, like you know, he's being bullied. But you know, he's been going through some changes. He's come out of it. Oddly, it's made him come out of himself a little bit more because he feels he has a purpose. He's got something to focus his energies on. He likes it. It's something that defines him. His stats have changed a little bit. Like most of the others, his flight has gone down a bit. He's not quite so fleet of foot. However, his brains have gone up because he's just all about the computers. He's all about the tech side of things. And oddly, his brawn has gone up a little bit because he's one of those kids that he's still kind of soft around the edges. He's, you know, sort of not a sporting chap, but nature plays its course, and he is actually quite hefty, but in a sort of like hefty geek kind of way, if you know what I mean, sort of thing. So
I like that. That's nice. Yeah, because kids just fill out. Like, you don't have to have done anything to just get husky.
No, he's just kind of filled out. So his at the expense of his grit. But he's Charlie. He's still a terrible fighter. Terrible.
Any new flaws or fears?
Yeah, he is. He's clumsy. He's gullible. He's got a bit more gullible now because he's not very sort of whip smart in that sense. He's very much a book smart.
He's not socially like.
Yeah.
Smart.
And he's got a bit gluttonous. He does like to eat his snacks. He's a bit more sedentary. He doesn't ride his bike as often anymore. He's a little bit more...
Does he have alphabetti spaghetti in the mornings?
He does still. Well, yeah,
Ross, you're projecting that from your own life.
Yeah.
No, that was in the
that was in the podcast.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm just remembering the time that Ross came round to my house and ate alphabetti spaghetti.
Do you just carry up the spaghetti with you?
Out of the tin.
Just out of the tin. Yes, so that's kind of Otis, really. Yeah, he's sort of this newfound sense of purpose, but it's also making him sort of more confident and a little bit more not reserved because he's just like, yeah, cool, I'm gonna go and do some gaming.
Nice.
I can't wait for the computer hacking scene now.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, he is. He's all. If you want to know about computers, he's all about computers. He is currently he's trying to get a job because he's trying to save up to buy a 386 because this year in 1989 SimCity came out. And it changed a lot of things. And he played SimCity on the computer, school's one computer. He's in charge of the one computer that they've got.
Nice.
And it blew his mind. So he's saving
Are there mainframes that can be hacked in 1989?
Not really, because actually
the internet was a thing, though.
In 1989,
it was,
the proposal went forward to create the World Wide Web. That was, but it is not a thing right now.
No.
But you can.
There are connected computers.
You can hack into a LAN.
If you were to turn up to a place that had a computer, like a stuff,
you can hack
into that mainframe.
Also, viruses started to become about. The first Trojan virus was released in 1989, which is basically ransomware. So it would take files and hide them on your computer, and they'd be like, you got to give me some money to get those back.
I remember that thing of there being a class computer and you being the one trusted to go on the computer, and like the teacher would trust that you knew more about it than the teacher did because kids knew more about the computer. So that kind of thing. I can remember that so clearly.
Yeah, and I knew all about Granny's Garden.
Yeah,
that was the genius
text adventure games.
That is exactly it. Yeah, so he's he's kind of he's doing all right.
Nice. Thank you.
Still afraid of getting lost.
Yeah.
Even though it's kind of an irrational fear because he literally knows this town like the back of his hand. It's kind of impossible for him to get lost, but he's still got that kind of fear of being lost and being alone.
Okay. Thank you so much. Now, does anyone have any relationships or like crushes or anything that they have at this time in 1989 of someone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Otis went on to coding camp last year. And he might have met someone.
Okay.
Oh, love it.
Although it's all very innocent now, sort of thing.
Lovely. Good. Okay. No, so James has a relationship, maybe potentially like with
sort of
someone.
pen pal
at the moment. Scott?
I think Benny might have developed a crush on a teacher.
Okay.
What's a teacher?
Well, we'll find out what's your teacher's
I don't know
name?
the other teachers at the school.
You can make one up.
Oh God. Okay.
You don't have to do it now. You can think about it. Yeah.
I was going to say there's a when I was at school, I had a crush on my English teacher. I'm just trying to remember her name. I'll
Brilliant.
Okay. Anyone else? No.
Yeah.
Oh,
there was a foreign exchange group that came to Sasquatch.
Nice.
They're twinned with Sasquatch in France.
Wait, there's a Sasquatch. See, there's Sasquatch in France.
There's a small town which, it's Sasquatch. Just outside of Paris, and
that well-known suburb of Paris.
that's how much I know about Paris. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a small area of France that have got a school, and they twinned with Sasquatch. So there was about 10 kids that came over, and there was a girl that stayed with the family living next door to Randy's house, and he got to know this girl for a little while. Her name was Miriam, and
nice,
very innocent, but they stayed up one night, quite a long time.
Nice.
Oh.
Okay.
I think Mitch has admired people down the gym, but no one in particular.
Yeah.
Felt the stirrings of like, but no one in particular, I think is too preoccupied really to.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't realise there's still pen pals, by the way. The Miriam and Randy. I didn't mention.
Cool.
That. Thank you. Sorry.
I think Maggie is married to the job.
Nice.
Like she's trying to suppress any of that and just is focused on the mission, which means it will probably just catastrophically collapse at some point, as these things do. Like she's very much building a dam that is unstable right now.
Very nice. Okay, so last few things. You all had relationships with each other, positive and negative. Instead of going around and telling me if you're positive and negative, do we have any of your relationships with each other changed at all? Do you still view them as positive or negative as you were last time in 1985, or are they the same? Or are you all positive towards each other now? Does anyone have any strong feelings?
I don't think Otis has got any strong feelings either way. I think he's quite ambivalent.
Yeah.
Except that he's not on board with Maggie's new popularity drive. He doesn't really fit in with that sort of ethos, I think. She's very much like the got to be charming, got to be the class, whatever, and he's just a bit of a sort of like.
I like that. I feel like Maggie's been leaning on Otis to like help with things like printing campaign flyers and things,
nice.
and she's dealing with the fact that like Otis isn't her little cousin anymore who just does stuff she needs, and I think I like that there's kind of a little strain there where she's just it's that thing like when you're. I know there's not that much of a difference in age, but she's definitely always seen him as like little cousin who just will hang out with me and do stuff.
Yeah.
I like that there's a little bit of a distance.
Very nice. Anyone else, Scott?
Yeah, I think Benny's got nicknames for pretty much everybody now.
Nice.
Maggie's Maglite. Otis is Oat Milk.
Oat milk.
Yeah.
Was that even a
thing in 1989?
Might not have been.
But he is
Benny's
now.
invented it.
Fair play.
He is now.
Yeah. I've entrepreneured oat milk in 80s America.
It could be oatmeal. Oatmeal's a big thing.
Okay.
I don't want to jump on
Yeah,
you.
no, you just here you go. Here's my pencil.
Can I play this game for you?
Mitch has got a nickname, and I want to respect that. So that's Mitch. Also, I feel like nicknames would have come from other people calling you them rather than you making them up yourself. So if your friends are calling you Mitch, then that can be part of it. Randy hitherto has been unnicknamed, but after this, maybe I'll call you Randy the fucking Shandy. Shandy's not a thing either, but I'll work on it, Colin. Let me promise you that. Also, I think. Out of everything in respect to the bond that we formed in the first season, I don't think there's much that's changed relationship-wise for Benny with everybody else, but I think every now and then he just very quietly stalks Otis's bullies and with a baseball bat. Just he's seen his dad at work. And I think every now and then, just a very silent bit of threat of violence from the shadows every now and then, just very quietly.
Nice.
Just a fun fact. Oat milk was invented in 1994 in Sweden by Oatly's founders, brothers Rickard and Bjorn Oest.
So we just need to get them into this narrative to steal the idea from Benny.
5 years away, but that doesn't mean that you can't have invented it. And they're the ones who made it famous.
Nicknames don't always have to make sense.
That's true. That's true.
But thanks for checking.
That's right. No, I was quite interested actually. I was like, is there an actual
nice
definitive
fact,
invention? And it was, yeah.
Is Mitch's dad still the chief of police? Is he still working?
No, I mean he's
probably-
he's behind a desk for definite at this
Okay.
point. He's not been very well. I think someone else has had to come in to take over recently. But yeah, I think so. Like for a couple of years, yeah. He was still chief of police, and he started doing a reasonably decent job again for a bit, and then he got ill, and then he decided he needed to get.
Sorry, I was laughing at you. I was just trying to move
because one of the threads that I love that we've never really looked into. This kind of an undercurrent here is that one of our dads works for the police and one of our dads is in the mob or was in the mob. There's just it feels very Breaking Bad, very kind of like.
Which is that was what I was going to say actually. Yeah. Is it about time that we perhaps introduce the thing is your dad's getting ill, he's maybe not so active anymore? Is there a rivalry between our dads?
I mean, it's possible.
I know
it's
he's up to something. This guy's always fucking looking at me.
It's quite possible that now that he's been sort of taken off a lot of work in his downtime, he's looking into your dad a lot because he's obsessed with
Nice.
trying to find out what's been going on. But yeah, so that's there. That could definitely be a thing.
Cool. Okay, no other relationships.
Randy's
change?
quite positive to everyone. He used to be negative to a couple of people, but now he's
good.
Cool.
I think Mitch is positive towards everyone that was in that game because it was
went through stuff.
It was sort of life changing. But I think the only person she really got sort of close to was Maggie. So I mean, she probably still hangs out with Maggie, and I'm sure she chats to the others, but I'm not sure that
I
they don't hang
definitely
out
feel
as
that.
such. Whereas, she probably goes and finds Maggie and they might have chats and catch ups, but because she's in a different year to them all, she doesn't really, she's positive towards them all, but she doesn't.
We used to see each other in detention quite a lot, but Randy's kind of he has to stay in school because now his mum and dad aren't making as much money. Dave kind of had a go at him and said he
And
needs
yeah.
to stay in school, so he doesn't get into detention that much anymore.
I think
they
that's-
don't see
I
each
think
other
that's
as
also
much.
the same. Like, I don't think she's in detention as much.
Nice.
You know.
So yeah, that's kind of cool that we used to see each other all the time, and now we don't see each other as much.
Yeah.
Where are we at school-wise at the moment? Were we high schoolers? Were we middle schoolers?
So you're in high school. Randy, Benny, Otis, Maggie are all in high school, and Michelle is a sophomore, which I think is.
That's the first year of high school,
Is it?
isn't it? Sophomore?
No,
I think that's college, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sophomore's
But,
college,
but
I
Mitch is the youngest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mitch. Sorry, I meant Mitch, not Michelle.
No, I know. I'm just saying sophomore's university level, I thought.
It's different it's the 10th. She's in 10th grade.
This is, for us, for the British guys, this is the most cryptic part of
Yeah, trying to work out which.
Fundamentally, just don't get it.
Yeah.
My friend did send me a thing, but
Sophomore is a student in the second year of college or a 4-year secondary school.
Oh, well, that's...
Well, that
Right,
doesn't
okay.
narrow it down at
Yeah.
all.
but that...
have
You're
no
just
idea.
in the younger college.
I'm in the
bit.
younger-
What grade?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
10th grade, right? And we're 11th grade.
Oh,
You're-
me and Randy are 12th grade.
Yeah, you're 11th grade.
Ah,
You
okay,
and
cool.
Otis are in 11th grade.
That's another reason why I think because Benny's abusing that year gap to stalk Otis's bullies. There's leverage in a year when you're
Yeah.
at school.
Yeah.
Oh, so
yeah.
much.
Definitely.
Okay, so we've got our relationships, we've got our characters. Thank you for telling me that.
I've got a philosophical point we could just talk about very briefly that we wondered before we start recording. Again, the age range is sort of 15, 16, 17. 16, 17, really, most of us.
Yeah.
Were people riding bikes at that point in your experience, like when we were kids? Because I think I'd sort of left my bike behind by that point. I enjoyed it, but like most things, started moving on. Started thinking about driving more. Got my provisional license at 17. Started
The irony
was around
coming
my
from the
cousins.
man who's doing bicycle tours.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I got into bikes way later. It was just like, why did I ever stop doing this? This is fun. But when you're kids, you're sort of like,
But
the
the
80s
thing
though.
is,
Yeah,
the
it's
thing
the
is,
80s.
you're in a
It
town
is.
that is tiny, so there's no need really to
You call it
drive.
kids on public transport if you want.
kids on the bus.
Yeah, you probably are starting to learn to drive, but I would say if your character really wants to learn to drive, like Randy, he could be like, I want to learn to drive so I can get the fuck out of this town and drive away. But it's easier to just get on a bike and cycle 10 minutes across town to get somewhere rather than getting on a...
Yeah, I guess. And I guess in my head, it wasn't to say we should abandon bikes. It was just quite interesting because this could be the sort of last hurrah of get back on the bikes
Well, this
for
will
one last
probably-
time sort of thing.
Yeah, this will be the last time you probably use bikes because in season 3 you'll be adults.
Adults on bikes.
Yeah.
Well, Randy
Yeah.
does know how to drive. Randy got his license,
All right.
and but he bumped his dad's car, and now he's not allowed to drive.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
That's
There
good.
you go.
Benny hates the bikes now because they hearken to an older age, a younger age, and he wants to be cool and older, but has got a job, and that is the easiest way for him to get to work. So he loads getting on it, but he does use it quite frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of money going around for Mitch, so she, she's using the bike all the time still, and got lots of places that she needs to be, and also her dad got it for her. It doesn't suit her in any way, and now that she's reconnected with her dad, there's a fondness about the fact that he got her this bright pink bike that doesn't suit her in any way, and
cool.
so she's kind of having a sort of a second love for she's like a. Yeah, she's digging it a lot again. Also, she loves her exercise. Oh yeah.
We'll do intros into our bikes when we get into the episodes properly. You might have gained some upgrades for your bikes, but we can talk about that in the game. The last thing we're going to do, the biggest thing, and the reason why I wanted to do this as a session 0 is the changes to the town. Yeah. What has changed to the town? So what we're going to do is go round again, and you're going to give me one big thing that's changed in the town and one small thing that's changed in the town. This can be specifically characters, like the immersive actors now work at a thing. Charles Fonterworth didn't actually die. He just like got a severe like stomach injury, and he's now working as blah blah blah. Or anything like anything like that, anything big or small. Or you could talk about a big corporation came in, bought the mall, did it up, and now it's a huge like mall that's brought in more jobs and it's bigger, or something like that. Yeah, anything that you think that could change Sasquatch in the 4 years that you are now in 1989.
Well, you went and nicked. Literally, I was going to say about the shopping mall.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's gone from being an abandoned shopping mall.
There we go.
I think I was going to say
it's actually in the process of being done up. So there's a lot of construction around it.
Do you know what what's its name? Because it originally was called Squat's Mall.
Yeah, I think it's going to. Yeah.
I thought it might be cool.
Squat's Mall.
Well, I don't know. It's coming. It's going to be an improved sort of thing.
When did
I was going to say it's
Walmart
open,
away?
man. I was going to say that the mall is open. I was also going to say that maybe that mall is still abandoned, but they've built another mall.
Yeah, you still got
They
the
built
abandoned
another mall,
mall.
like-
There's another mall that's somewhere else.
Like on the town,
Yeah.
on the like creepy town. They've built it over that, but they've kept some of it as like a tourist attraction to come to the mall.
Okay. So they
That's
built
what
in
I was
the-
going to suggest.
Yeah, that's
but
quite a good idea.
The
I
whole
like that.
paleontology town is now a
now
mall.
a mall
Yeah.
with a theatrical experience
Exactly.
on it. Okay.
Yeah. And
Well, that gives something for the immersive actors to do.
Fossils mall.
Bear in mind, the actors were thugs, so
Yeah, they were
bear
also-
in mind,
They were, yeah.
and
Well,
also
maybe they've
think.
renounced their ways and they've truly embraced drama.
they've started a theatre company.
Yeah,
Also, think about the ramifications of the fact that Michael Dana and the thugs were there when the alien spacecraft took off and flew away.
They saw that.
Your dad didn't, because he got there
Right.
after. But they know they've seen something, but it also could attract people to come see, Area 51, there's aliens here. Like, people kind of maybe believe it, and that's maybe brought a boom in.
Yeah.
Think of stuff like that. But yeah, let's go with Dan first.
I mean, like for anyone who's listened to something like Serial, like the experience of going back to a small town and finding the guys who were involved in some massive crime years ago still being there working the same job and no one talking about it. That's absolutely something that
Yeah,
happens.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
totally.
So
totally
something
legit.
big,
Okay,
Dan,
I
you
think something big that's happened is, while it didn't nationally nobody believed that there was a spaceship. Like, not enough people saw it to make. It's not like contact with aliens has been established and that we have a Mars colony or something like that. But enough rumors got out that now Sasquatch is known as like the place where aliens came, and so alien spotters are regularly in the town, like trying to hunt for aliens. And there's just all of these people coming from all over the country because they think this is somewhere where stuff goes down, and there's always people like watching the skies.
Nice. And a small thing.
A small thing. A small thing, Principal Hardwinkle got promoted from the junior school to the high school and is still our principal.
Nice. Yeah. Scott, a big thing and a small thing.
There's the food place is at the mall. And
It's a place you work at.
Yes.
Yeah, what's it called? That's the small thing.
I've
I'd
been
say.
looking at my notes from the previous season for so long, and I'm coming up with Colonel Custard because of the custard hole, but it sells chicken. But there's like a side bit where you can get the custard chicken.
Yeah.
but they mainly
nice.
they
That could
mainly
be a
use
thing. That could definitely custard
right
chicken.
custard chicken.
Yeah,
sounds-
like with waffles.
Is it
and
by
stuff.
where the
protein,
custard
it's
hole
got-
is, or is it in the mall, the
wherever
new mall?
wherever the new mall is.
Okay.
Well, that's next.
On the paleontology.
But it's also vaguely Colonel Custer themed. So the
Nice.
people who work there have kind of got a dress,
Yeah.
like soldiers of that era, vaguely in really shit costumes. I'm imagining Steve from Stranger Things.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
imagining
yeah.
him more despondent and angry. Like that's
Yeah.
that's basically where Benny's at there.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Was that the big thing and the small?
Don't know. Don't know. Feels like it could be really big, but also could be really small.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that one. Yeah.
The big thing, I think we're going to combine James's and my suggestion with the malls. Is that all right? We'll say that half the mall is open, right? But I know, because I love the fact that you said that it was all still in construction. So let's say that half the mall is still being built.
Well, I've
But
got
you
an
do
idea
get that,
about
don't you? A mall opens,
Yeah.
and there's
It's
space.
like coming
there's
soon.
space for stuff
And
to be
there's,
put in. the mall.
I love that idea because actually that links with another idea I had. But I'll
Great.
explain that.
Nice. So that's cool. So yeah, some of it is still under construction, but we can still go there. My little thing is, in the mall, there's going to be an ice cream parlor, and kind of similar, that this new ice cream parlor is where we all kind of hang out sometimes. And
Nice.
the workers,
What's it called?
the ice cream parlor is called Nice Cream.
Nice.
It's literally an eyesight of like Colonel Custard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's over the road. And the workers inside, every time you order the sundae, the workers have to come in going, Sunday, Sunday, fun day, Sunday, Sunday, like that. They have to chant and they have to like clap a rhythm.
Like TGI Fridays.
Yeah, and they put sparklers in it, and they have to do it until you take your first bite. And so we go there as sometimes as kids just to order the sundae and
Yeah.
watch
Not bite.
these people like hate the fact that they have to do it to us.
Is it the,
Watch
is it the,
them and watch them. And watch them.
Exactly.
is it the immersive thugs? Do they all work at Nice Cream now?
That's our revenge. That's how we torment them.
I wish I could get your kid, but I work for a ice cream company.
I'd say the one of the immersive actors is the youngest of the immersive actors now works there. Yeah,
Has he been to prison, or has he just
he's been inside, and this is like
in the slammer.
fit into
Rehabilitation.
Sasquatch
Yeah,
Slammer?
yeah.
Just to clarify, so the mall is in the old paleontology place, or is it
It's
in
in the
where
old-
the old mall was? Because they're not
There's
near
still
where
an abandoned mall.
No, it's there's still the abandoned mall,
I'm thinking though.
but there's a new mall by the paleontology.
okay, cool,
and,
cool.
and the original
Yeah.
mall was pretty small, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
by modern standards,
Yeah.
it
It was a
tiny
small
sort of
mall.
thing. It was a
Yeah,
small
yeah.
mall. Small mall.
Cool.
What's the mall
and then a
called?
small,
Let's go with some
let's think about the name of this, and a small
What's it
thing
gonna-
that's changed, potentially maybe to a character or to anything you think that like there's something small that could happen.
Isn't the small thing the ice cream parlor?
Oh, my small
Or
thing's the ice
a
cream.
big
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
then?
Well, it's
My big
the
thing-
shopping mall.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, good, yeah.
All right, the small thing. No. It's just-
Okay, good.
Sorry,
You've got
Cole,
the-
we'll put it at the end.
Do we have a name for the ice cream parlor?
yeah,
yeah,
nice,
nice
cream.
cream.
Ice cream. Okay.
Can we
was
put,
gonna go with Bloody
a
Sunday,
silent
but-
D on it as well? Nice cream.
Okay, drum, a big and a small.
Oh lordy!
A big and a small.
Big and a
I guess the gym's probably in the mall, right? That's a small thing. Everything's in the mall.
Yeah.
So everything new that's happening this season is because of the fucking mall, right?
Yeah.
Because the mall has brought crazy shit in, and a small thing. Well, maybe it's not that small, but creatures keep disappearing. We think they're going into the custard hole.
Oh,
Nice.
nice. Creatures.
Creatures.
Define creatures. Like hobgoblins?
Orcs, sheep,
Livestock. Oh my god, livestock keeps falling in the custard hole.
livestock,
I like that.
frogs. No one human has yet disappeared. But we're all waiting. Scratch that. An alien, at least one alien visitor has disappeared. We think might have disappeared into
This is
the,
huge.
When you say alien visit, you mean an alien hunter?
Alien hunter
Not
person.
like another alien.
Actual alien. An alien came down, got stuck in the custard hole, and now
one of the people that came looking for aliens.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, wow, hey, here I am in alien town.
Nice.
I wonder what's going on. Got sucked into the custard hole. Maybe. We don't
I
know.
like that.
Someone's
We don't know
gone
where they
missing.
went. Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't know where they went. And animals do seem to be disappearing, possibly into the custard hole. I don't
Nice.
know.
You know what this town is missing? Is a mayor. Like, we've never had a, what if Catherine Jacobs, the artist who created the chicken statue and mysteriously disappeared before season 1, what if she mysteriously returned
She's
in the
alive.
intervening years and has been elected mayor, and no one really knows where she was in the time
Yes.
being,
I like
and
that.
she's the person who pushed for the building of the mall.
Love it.
So we've got like
Yeah.
we have a mysterious new mayor who is like behind all of this development.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I'm well in on that.
I'm just going back over the rumors from season 1. The one thing we never ever touched on was the rumor that the high school roller hockey team every year got kidnapped by the government and were taken to a secret black site to be trained as super soldiers.
This was the ice hockey team, but they didn't have an ice, so they were
roller hockey.
Yeah.
So we never followed that one up.
Unfortunately, the rumors from the original season are still in this season, so you don't need to introduce new rumors.
Right, okay.
Great.
So you can still have a person coming in to be a mayor, but it won't be the same person from that rumor, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It doesn't have to be her. I just like the idea of there being a new character.
Wait till your turn.
All right.
For fuck's sake.
He's already had his turn.
He's already had his turn.
I want more turns, Ross.
But no, the thing is, I really like that, and I think I'm up for that. And can I have that as part of my go as well?
Yeah, it's not Catherine Evans.
I'm already getting into politics. Just made Drummond put my go in.
Okay, cool. No one's mentioned anything about Charles Fauntleroy.
Well, can I just have my turn, please? And then maybe I will.
Big thing.
Oh, Jesus.
Big thing.
Big thing. Okay, so the new mall, is. I like Colin's idea of building
You can
that.
pick something different to the
Half
mall.
of it is half it's not built. Sort of construction kind of stopped quite suddenly, and nothing much has happened with it. And the rumor is, the word on the street, because you get these rumors going around before the internet, is that they found something underneath sort of where they were digging. Something was down there and it stopped because there's not even any construction now. It's just sort of like it's still like there's still construction business like cranes and whatever, but it stopped. So that's a big thing. Charles Fauntleroy, the vet.
Fauntleworth.
Actually a new chain veterinarian sort of opened up in the mall.
Nice.
And he had to close. He's still about.
So he's alive.
He's still alive. He's about. He's a bit of a recluse, and he doesn't run anything because his veterinary his clinic's closed.
How did he survive getting shot in the torso repeatedly by rocks with socks?
Well, who knows? Who knows? But he is still seen about. But it's up to you whether or not you have anything to do with him, or whatever. But I like the idea he's become a bit of a recluse.
Yeah,
we don't know how he survived. He hasn't told us yet.
I know, exactly.
I like that.
Have we even spoken to him?
And actually, I don't know why, but I genuinely had this idea before. My small thing is about the custard hole again.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, it's something weird happened, got us a few health inspectors, and then it was closed to the public. So you can't go to the custard hole.
It was open to the public to begin with?
It was a part of the...
It's a hole.
It's the local charm, you know what I mean? You come and visit. But these small towns have got hey, have you gone and visited the Wiki Hole caves and stuff? There's nothing really there. It's just a small cave network, but let's make it up so you get the custard hole. But it was closed to the public.
Okay.
So you can't go up there anymore.
It.
So I'm just giving you some shit to play with.
We're going one more time round and then that's it.
Cool. Okay.
So let's go. You could just say a big thing. Doesn't really matter. Or a small thing, whatever you want.
Well, is this town again?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
More
There's
stuff.
It's been 4 years.
It is a small town.
Yeah, but
not these places tend to resist change. I think that
I can't remember.
one thing generally. Oh, I was going to say, in line with Charles Fauntleroy or whatever, is the classic. The shopping mall's opened. It's big. It's shiny. It's new. There's lots of new shops. Everyone goes there, and the local high street is dying a death.
Yeah.
Because
nice.
that has happened in this country and in America and all that stuff. But the traditional high street. Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask about, because I was going to ask, did we have a cinema originally? Yeah.
Yep.
So
They were
the
playing
cinema
Back to the
is,
Future.
and they were playing Back to the Future, right? That's what I thought. And
Cinemas now are Weatherspoons.
and in the mall there may well have been a multiplex, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's got three screens.
which probably messed up the original cinema, which I guess now is like a place where kids hang out.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Like an abandoned cinema.
Oh, yeah.
Spooky abandoned cinema type vibe.
How abandoned are we going with Sasquatch's High Street? Are we going proper boarded up, or I sort of saw it in decline?
Yeah.
in
So
decline.
quite a fair few. Half the shops are kind of
I think
shut.
the guy that used to run the projectors at the cinema is now still like lives next door, but like he's got nothing to do with his life. And
He's
like,
kind of security for the building.
Yeah, he keeps an eye on it and stuff, but kids still get in there and hang out, and so he goes in to like clear up their mess sometimes with damn kids.
Get out
Sits there at night watching old film reels by himself. It's played by like Timothy Spall or something. It's just that kind of.
Yes, exactly.
Love that.
And his name's, I don't know, Donald Dustworth or something.
Donald Dustworth. There we go.
We got a Donald.
The Dustworth Cinema.
Always talking about renovating it.
Come on.
Yeah.
He still refers to movies as
Brilliant.
talkies.
Yeah.
Scott, what were you going to say?
Did we ever address the Velveteens in the previous season?
No, that
really.
rumor is still live.
That's a rumor. Okay, fine.
Yeah. But you could, yeah.
I guess they wouldn't. I mean, if they do exist, I guess they wouldn't expose themselves by making a massive change to the town,
Yeah.
unless their plan was to hide in plain sight.
Maybe.
I don't know. We had the Darners.
What's the
though,
name
didn't
of the
we?
mall?
Yeah.
So
The
that-
Velveteens Mall.
Yeah, it seems too much to be. And it's okay. We've got aliens here now, so no one's bothered about the
you're right.
Velveteens.
Yeah, it was like kind of the Darners were like the public, were like kind of like the Masons. They were like the
Yeah.
public
That's right.
do-gooders kind of thing, and the Velveteens were like were like a shadowy society that were controlling the town and trying to get everyone into terror. I've got they're very worried about morality. They were formed by the Puritans, so they're secretly trying to guide the morality of the town. Was
Nice.
Ooh,
was in
there's something
that.
else I thought of. Everyone's struggling, including maybe the sock. Are the socks in terminal decline, or is the
Sock
sock still going
industry.
strong? Or is actually is that on its last
I
legs?
thought they were already in decline.
That was the whole point.
No, sorry. I mean, is it done? Has the sock industry
has darned its
collapsed?
last hole.
Yeah. Is that a thing?
There's,
And
there's
then-
a new
'cause
shop
then you-
in the
'cause then-
mall called Socks Are Us.
Well, because that's another abandoned thing. Like, it could go back to the abandoned
Nice.
sock experience, and like the owner's house being all boarded up. It's like, oh, nobody buys that because it's a bit too big for anyone to afford in the town. But you can't knock it down, so it's just sort of like, it's there.
What if the immersive actors and the people who ran the sock experience have moved on and built a whole Wild West, like a fake Wild West high street outside town, and now they run that as like the history of early Sasquatch, and it's like one of these places where you can, like that place in Kent, and it's like you can go there and like live like a pilgrim for the for a weekend, and like tourists come to have a weekend living in the Old West.
That's the other thing is if the tourist trade's gone up, there must be a hotel somewhere as well.
It's gotta be a hotel.
That might well be quite new.
There's a Days Inn.
Or it used to be something else and they've turned it into a hotel.
Nice.
That's a
Okay.
That's a nice one. Can I throw maybe a big one that fits into other stuff? Could there have been a company that has come into town that is responsible for this new mall and is like plowing money into the town? Like they're putting money, they're building this mall, they're putting money into the school and like funding, new books and school trips and all this fancy new stuff. But no one really knows what this company do. They're like a developer company or
There's just one shiny guy who goes, "Hey guys, I've just come." He shakes a lot of hands. The new mayor was probably installed by them. Possibly.
Everyone slightly works for the company.
Yeah.
What's the company name?
That's what we need to figure out. What's a good name for a kind of faceless but benevolent corporation?
Benevolent.co.
Oval Tech.
Something like
Oval
Apex or something like that. Like
what
the
did you say?
Apex Corporation or something like that.
Apex, Oval Tech.
Means nothing, but
Ovaltech Apex.
I was thinking as well about the mall because the malls around this time becoming big and they were getting more general fucking weak ass corporate sounding names, weren't they? So the mall also, what's it called? Stranger Things, it's called Star Mall or something.
Yeah.
Star Mall, like what is that?
Star Court.
Star Court. Yeah. So would this new to be developing mall have some kind of like really shiny, clean kind of sounding name?
Liberty
Diamond Mall.
Yeah.
Moon
Yeah.
Place.
Has no relation to the town. It's just the beginning of corporatization.
Yeah.
Okay.
The mall.
The mall.
The mall.
But it's spelled MORE LL.
Yeah, love that. That's great. Catherine, I'd say that all of her artwork since she's come back. Sorry,
It's not Catherine Eddowes
She's not
anymore.
allowed to have come back.
Yeah.
That got vetoed.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
did it?
that's fine.
Okay. In that case, let's just have the chicken statue
Yeah.
has been moved to the top of the mall.
Ooh.
So you can now
Yeah.
go to the mall to see the chicken.
Yeah.
That's a great move by Colonel Custard. It's right next to the. That's clever.
And now people trip up in it all the time inside the mall.
Oh wait, it's still on the ground. I thought
Yeah,
you
it's still on the ground. Like, when I say the top of the mall, I meant like it's like in the top.
Still a hazard.
It's on the upper levels.
Yeah.
It's remained a
Maybe
hazard.
maybe it should just be just inside the entrance. So literally, you come in the mall and you fall over the chicken, and then you can go shopping.
They,
It's like
they
a-
built them all around it.
oh.
Yeah.
I mean, its geographication was fairly. It was next to a road. I
Yeah,
think,
it was-
wasn't
yeah.
So I suppose.
Let's say that someone's employed. There's one security guard that every time they're on shift, they're employed just to stand around the chicken, just go, watch out for the chicken.
Yes,
Excuse me.
one guy.
Yeah.
His name's, his name's
The
Hank.
chicken guard.
He's the chicken
Yeah,
guard.
chicken
His
guard.
name's Hank. He's the chicken guy.
I bet he's a dickhead as well. I bet he tries to get me to go and do it every now and then because he sees that I'm like not
Yeah,
really
yeah.
that busy at work.
I just got to go to the bathroom. Can you
Watch the chicken.
watch the chicken for me?
Or you could get
You're a
put,
good
like,
sport.
You're on chickens again, Benny.
He's got special cones to put out when he goes to the toilet, and then you can have
Back
a fun
in
game
5
to go
minutes.
and take the cones and just move them somewhere else if he'll fall over the
The
thing.
second
God damn it, yours! Moving my cone.
Is it Rem Hardwinkle?
Randy's mum works in the chicken place as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What with me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna fancy your mum, bro.
Is what it is,
Oh
man.
man, don't
Their
do
eyes
that.
met over
Welcome
bubbling
to
vats
my
of chicken.
world, Randy.
She needs
right.
a job. She needs a job.
Oh my goodness! Can I throw in one? It's very
Last one.
Last one. A very small one to add a
Yes.
little bit of spice and a little bit of tension to the group. Can Maggie's mum, Frances Wheeler, pillar of the community, finally succeeded in her quest to have the legal drinking age raised from 18 to 21, and Maggie supported her in it, and it's only just gone through, and it's a bit of a thing.
Nice.
I feel like that's an asshole. That's like a nice bit of little tension.
All right. That's it. We are now ready to play Danger Things. Ooh. Two. Yeah, two. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this Session Zero, I'm really excited to see what you guys are going to be and what we're going to create in this crazy, crazy world that I have created. If that sounds fun and you like the sound of it and you like the sound of what our characters are going to be in this season, then head on down to Patreon and subscribe to our tier, and you will get the audible delights of Danger Things Season 2, 10 episodes. And that's all that's left is to say goodbye.
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 Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
See you in 1989.
Yeah, that was better. It's time to get some Danger Things.
In 1989.
This is
Bye,
the best sign off ever.
everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Hello.
Dan Thompson.
Hello.
James Lockhart. Hello. And Drummond Boskill.
Ucha kucha.
How are we all?
Good, thank you.
Oh my God, I am.
Colin's good. There we go.
My voice is suffering. I can tell you that.
Yes,
I'm a little croaky today.
You guys are wearing matching T-shirts.
Yeah,
Did
so-
you guys go somewhere?
Yes, I thought you'd never ask, Drum. We went to a wrestling promotion called AEW, not to be confused with AWE, which is
Croatian Wrestling Entertainment.
Yeah, I'd be really confused
That
right
is
now.
confusing. Especially for the patrons.
Yeah, exactly. Because
So
this is going
confused.
out for free.
There were
but, you know.
people at Wembley all weekend being like, "What the fuck? I thought this was like gladiators."
Turning up dressed as lions.
So AEW put on a wrestling event at Wembley Stadium, one of the biggest wrestling events ever.
It's AEW.
Yeah.
Did people
All
not
elite
collect-
wrestling.
Did people not colloquially pronounce that as ow?
Yeah. 81,000 people.
Wow.
But this is not a wrestling podcast, is it?
What?
No, no, no,
81,000
no,
people
but-
wrestled.
I'm just saying, if someone's tuned into this for the first time ever, they're expecting a game and we're talking about wrestling. I'm just saying. Like, I'm
You
just saying,
say
like-
that now, Colin.
yeah, right.
Why do you think we're all covered in olive oil?
I'm cutting. I'm cutting all of this just to get straight to the game.
so we were there and it was very good and we are very croaky.
It's a success.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really
Oh,
fun.
nice.
It was really fun. Yeah, that's it.
Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, riveting.
Sweet.
I feel ready to play a game about teenagers now because for the last 2 days we've eaten nothing but sweets and hot dogs.
Yeah. So we are, as you know, going to be doing some dangerous things, dangery